will be presiding for the May 20th Technical Transportation Committee meeting, which is now called to order. The first item on the agenda is actually a roll call so that we are absolutely clear who all is in attendance. So first, John Fricker, thumbs up.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
I can hear you.
Was that you, John?
Yes.
Okay, you're in. I'm going to let you take over then.
Okay. So I'm here, event finally. Sally?
Yes?
Jeremy Grennard, I saw him. Bill Smith or
Yes.
proxy?
Proxy for Bill Smith, Scott Chandler.
Okay, Scott, thank you. Stuart, I saw, Stuart Klein.
Yeah.
And Lafayette Police Department, who's here? Lafayette Police?
Jason's here,
Okay,
talking.
okay, well, let's work something out. West Lafayette Police, well, no, West Lafayette City Engineer.
Mitch Langford, I'm here.
Good, thank you. For Purdue University Airport? Would that be Jim Knapp? Nobody?
Oh, he shows up on the screen.
Let's see.
There he is.
I am here. I am there.
Okay, good, Jim, thank you. And is it Marty or someone else? Bryce?
That's me today, Bryce. I'm
Okay,
here.
and from the Sheriff's Department?
Woody Ricks.
Okay, thank you. And West Lafayette Police Department?
Jason Fillar from West Lafayette Police.
Okay.
Good.
And that's it, okay. So I heard you've been looking at the minutes from the last meeting. So let's move to that and agenda item. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Jeremy
Who-
Grennard.
That was Jeremy, thank you. A second comes from,
Second, Stu.
all right, Stu, thank you. Any need to make any corrections? Hearing no such need. You're ready for the question? I guess we'll go by roll call vote again.
Right.
And I haven't lost that paper yet. Okay, Jeremy, you say yes
Yeah.
or no?
Yes.
Yes. Scott?
Yes.
Okay. Stu Klein, yes or no?
Yes.
Jason from Lafayette Police? Yes or no?
Oh, Jason, I'm with West Lafayette.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Okay, I got you. Okay, I'll count you down there below. Mitch from West Lafayette?
Yes.
Jim Knapp?
Yes.
Bryce for GLPTC?
Yes.
Woody for the sheriff?
Yes.
Okay, so we have as many, it was unanimous. I didn't keep count.
And Sally's yes, and I assume John's yes.
Okay, we get to vote too, that's fine, yeah, thank you. So the next item on the agenda is, if applicable, access permits. Is there anything there from, in fact, I don't remember asking, yeah, NDOT is here, okay. Anything in the way of access permits?
I do not know of any new access permits in this area, no.
Okay, thank you.
Scott,
Yes.
we had a discussion with Tim and George about Anvil 38,
Okay,
the new apartments near Ivy Tech. And we were told that this was coming to this meeting. So,
interesting. Well, I apologize. I will get information and to be able to share with the group, but I do not have anything to share with you. So I was unaware of that, Jeremy.
okay. I just know they're trying to break ground by June, I believe, mid-June. So
All right.
this is kind of their last chance to be heard at this committee before that.
Okay,
So I'll get, so should I send information when I look at, the screen here who should I send all the information to as soon as I get my hands on it? Other than you, Jeremy.
Yeah, this is, should I go to Sally's office?
Yeah, why don't you send it to me, Scott, and we will make sure that it gets distributed to the entire committee. And
You
then
got
what we
it.
can do is accept, we'll set a deadline and accept comments.
Okay, okay. And I will get that to you, Sally, as quickly as I can.
Okay, great, thank you.
You
That
bet.
sounds, that sounds good. I know that Tim and George had requested some changes. They made those changes in the plans. So if that could be documented in what we get, that would be good. Okay, thank you.
You bet, Jeremy.
You said they're hoping for a June groundbreaking on that, so that's gonna be tight.
Yes.
So item 3, administrative modifications to the tip. This is probably something Sally wants to spend some time on.
Yeah, actually, there are 6, and most of these are related to making sure that we obligated all our allocated federal funds in this fiscal year. So the first one was on March 24th, and it followed our deal with Terre Haute to swap from us $573,000 in safety money to Terre Haute this year, and they will be repaying that next year. So this tip modification was the final step in that swap with Terre Haute. The second tip mod was on April 7th, and this took $151,838,000 in safety money from the right-of-way phase of the Mccutchen Pedestrian Safety Project to the construction phase for the Klondike Road project, and it was all for change orders. April 13th, we did a little housekeeping to match INDOT's numbers, and we reallocated $640 in safety funds from right-of-way phase of Mccutchen Pedestrian Safety into the construction phase of Klondike Road. On April 16th, I did a modification which took money from the Concord Road project, $3,011, from Jaeger Road, $39,899, and from Twickenham Boulevard, $58,354, and put it all into the South 9th Street project for a total of $101,264,000 federal dollars. On April 21st, we took $33,790 in safety money from right-of-way phase of Mccutchen Ped Safety Project and $108,388 from right-of-way phase of Jaeger Road and put it to the construction of the Klondike Road project, and that was all for railroad work. And on April 27th, this actually was a revised from a former tip mod, but only for clarification. It didn't change the money. So we took $29,556 from the Jaeger project to the 231 study. So that gave us a total of $100,000 that we had INDOT Finance apply to the district for the study on the extension of 231 up to I-65. And that then it also left $169,011 from safety money that Terre Haute could not take this year. So my last ditch effort, because there was no other MPO who could use the funds this year, was to talk to Kathy Eaton McCallop. She agreed to take that $169,000 this year and reimburse us next year, which gives us the full amount of this year's safety money to apply next year to the 500 North River Road Safety Project.
Okay, thank you, Sally. All those 6 letters are in your board packet or your committee packet. Any questions about those? All right, thanks, Sally. Ready for item 4, amend the fiscal year 2020 to 2024 Transportation Improvement Program. And who has the honors here?
That would be Doug.
Okay, Doug?
Well, good afternoon. We have several requests to amend the TIP. They're basically split into 2 staff reports. The first one being requests from our local agencies, specifically Tippecanoe County and City Bus, and then the second report covers all the requests from the Crawfordsville District Office. First, looking at the request from Tippecanoe County, they received rural funding, or what we call Group 4 funding, STBG funds, to replace a bridge on Old US 231 South, which is located about 1,500 feet south of Veterans Memorial Parkway. Construction is targeted for fiscal year 2024, and the county will be using their own funds for preliminary engineering and whatever right-of-way that is needed. The total amount of federal funds that was awarded, $240,000 for construction engineering and $1.92 million for construction. The second local request is from City Bus, and there's basically several parts to that. They did a review earlier this year and decided to change up their calendar year 2020 funding and made some changes. The first change is actually increasing the federal dollars for operating assistance. The second change is in their capital project list. They did some changes within several projects that are already currently programmed in the TIP and then added several new ones. And then they also added 2 new planning projects. One, engineering to increase the CNG station, and then to do phase 2 of their strategic plan. The specific details, there's a lot in there that covers all of the information is in the staff report. The last part to their request is in part obligating all of our FY 2020 FHWA federal funds, in that the residual amount left, part of it will be going to a route planning software. The total cost is $45,000, of which the federal share is $36,000. So similar to what we did last year, part of the funds that are remaining that we need to obligate will be transferred to City Bus to use for that planning software. Going on to the second staff report for NDOT projects, it's a fairly lengthy one this time, and we're updating one single project and then actually adding 14 additional ones. The specific information for each project is in the TIP, but to kind of give you a little overview of it, the majority of the projects are some type of bridge work, or just actually 10 of those, which are located on State Road 25, 38, 43, 52, and US 231. Includes bridge painting, deck overlay, thin deck overlays, and scour protection. Construction is targeted throughout for various projects from fiscal year 2022 to 2024. There's also some individual projects that are being amended in. One of them is the ADA ramp project on State Road 38. That project is currently in the TIP, but we are adding construction funds for that project, and it's targeted for fiscal year 2021. Next project is a maintenance project on State Road 28, adding an asphalt overlay. Construction is targeted for 2024. We have a district-wide signal modification project. One of those signals is located in Tippecanoe County, and it is at Sagamore Parkway and Cumberland. Construction is also targeted in 2024. On I-65, basically north of State Road 43 and going north to 24, is a landscape windbreak project. There's been issues of having additional crews, plowing crews, work on that stretch of interstate. And with the installation of landscaping, windbreaks, that should hopefully reduce that and then increase the number of crashes due to snow and blowing snow. The last project is probably the biggest. It's an I-65 widening project. It basically starts where the Wabash River Bridge widening project ends, which is just north of the Wabash River, and I-65 will be widened to approximately 1 mile north of State Road 43. This project is going to be a design-build project similar to the previous one, and construction is targeted to begin in fiscal year 2022. Any questions?
If there are no questions, I'd like to consider this as one motion unless somebody would like to handle it as 2 or 3 separate motions.
One should be fine, John.
So the motion, then I will entertain a motion to amend the tip as Doug has explained, described. Would somebody like to make that motion?
So moved.
All right, Jeremy, thank you. And the second?
I'll second it.
Who was that?
Mitch Langford.
Bryce?
I was
Sally, you
Bryce.
the second?
I don't know if you can hear me.
Jeremy had made the motion and I think Bryce seconded?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Can you hear
Okay.
me?
Yes.
Okay, terrific.
You're ready for the question? We'll go down the list and please vote by saying yes or no. Sally, you want to vote first?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's a yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Jeremy?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Stuart?
Yes.
Mitch?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Bryce?
Yes.
Woody?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
And I would vote yes as well. Again, I forgot to count, but it's unanimous. So the tip is amended and that'll go to the policy committee as the next step?
That's
or-
correct.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
And then item 5 on our agenda is quarterly reports. So is Tim in the audience?
Yes, I am. You can't
He
really
is.
see me. I'm kind of off to the side of the camera.
Okay.
But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and go through project by project as usual, starting with Tippecanoe County. So Stu, can you hear me?
Yes. I got you.
Okay, good. So our first project is the Klondike Road project, and the comments we have on that are that several things happened, some change orders and stuff. Stu had sent us an email, and then that led to us processing some tip amendments for change orders and one for railroad funding. So I think from our perspective, that pretty much covers things with this, unless there's something additional you wanted to mention, Stu.
No, that's good.
All right. So then the next project is Lindbergh Road. So our first question is about the construction cost. So this was reduced from the last quarter. So is that correct? Was there an updated estimate or something that came in to reduce that?
Yes, that was the latest estimate from the design consultant. We're still over budget funded. I think we've only got like a 60% federal share.
Okay. And then also, Stu had talked to us about this part about funding the railroad construction in fiscal year 2021. So as far as I know, we at APC are still on board with that. Do you want to make any additional comments about that, or have our conversations covered that so far?
I think we've got the agreement in place. It's been reviewed. KBS signs it, we'll sign it, and it will go. The reason we asked to fund that is that'll be coming out
All right, gotcha. Yes. So then the next project is North River Road at River Bend. So this one has reopened, and we just want to know what is the status of any purchase orders that might be closed out in order to finalize this and get it out of the quarterly report cycle.
It was just the NOT, and I think we just got that. I had a response. Yes, I think it's closing out.
Okay, so we might see it drop off next quarter then?
Yeah, you shouldn't see it next quarter, because our NOT, it should clear pretty quick.
Okay. And then the next project would be Concord at County Road 430 South. So just a note that you guys had fixed some construction funding information, and then kind of the same question as the last one, just the what is the status of the purchase orders that need to be closed out in order to finalize this?
Right, last quarterly report, there was a final field check. So that acceptance is on its way.
Okay. Great. So then the next project is River Road at County Road 500 North. So we noted a change in construction estimate there. So what is the reason for that change? Is that just an updated estimate or something else?
The updated estimate is jump around because the Indian American originally were talking about having the water line, there's a major water line through there, and it was to be in the contract, but now it's out of contract, so it's a reverse of the utility, and it moved the estimates.
All right, gotcha. And then the second question for that project is, what is the reason for the change in the right-of-way completion date? That got bumped back to this month.
Condemnation.
Okay. All right, well, that explains that. So then the next project is the Morehouse Road Reconstruction Project. So our only comment there was that you had included some updated construction costs as you discussed with us. So unless you have anything else you want to say on that project, I think we're good from our perspective.
That's the one we're just kind of tracking and watching because of the size of it. We may need to split phase by the time it hits construction. Yeah. Mike just mentioned that we're dealing with the cemetery too. So it's not.
Right. All right. So then the next project is the Jaeger Road Reconstruction. So we noted that the Stage 3 design information was corrected, NEPA approval came in, and federal funds were requested for both right-of-way services and acquisition. So it sounds like that project's pretty well on track from our end. So anything else you want to add, Stu?
We're working it.
Okay, sounds good. So then Mccutchen Pedestrian Safety. So for this one, I did want to note that this quarterly report was filled out before the TIP amendment was completed. So that should change some of the figures you see in next quarter's quarterly report, but they did not make it into this report as it was filed prior to that. Other than that, unless you have anything else you want to add, Stu, I think that's all from us for that project.
Yeah, we're good. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So for Bridge 64, which is the next project, didn't have any comments on that either. Are you good, Stu?
Yeah, we just,
Right. Mhm. Yes.
the joint contract, construction contract, too good.
Right. So then for Bridge 65, the next one there, so we just noted that the total project costs have been updated, which, you know, again, as expected for something pretty early in the process, so we don't have anything of concern on that one. So do you have anything else, Stu? All right, and then the last one, which is brand new, is Bridge Number 527 project. So this, I just noted that this was the first time this has appeared in the quarterly reports, and I wanted to know if there was a timeline for selecting a consultant.
We just finished our RFP and I have six proposals on my desk to distribute to the selection.
Okay, great. And then the last thing about the tip construction amount. At the time, at least, we put this together, we didn't have an amount for that. So just want to make sure that that gets in there eventually, really is all that comment is about. So, all right, so that should close things off for Tippecanoe County, so we'll go over to Lafayette. So Jeremy, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, good. So we'll start with the Twickenham Boulevard project. So not too much going on there from our end. We just noted that the advice of change for the first change order was processed on April 30th. So it seems like things are moving pretty well with that. Do you have any additional comments, Jeremy?
Nope, we already have the PO back from NDOT for that, and an invoice, so.
Of course. Right.
Project is moving well.
Good. Glad to hear that. Okay, so the next project is the Park East Boulevard extension. So we noted that all federal funds were removed from right-of-way, as the city will fund this with local funds. And it looked like the same was done for PE. Do I have that correct, or did I get that wrong?
Should not be for PE.
Okay.
Should be for right-of-way, yes, but not PE.
All right, well, that's something that I need to check on my end then. I might have input that incorrectly. Okay. Anything else on that project, Jeremy?
Our construction cost estimate was updated. Apparently, it went up, obviously, and not down, so. That's unfortunate. I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention. And then even more concerning than that, this morning we got a phone call from our consultant who is working on the environmental document right now. They have it in for review. And they are being told that the purpose and need is not being approved, that it is not of independent utility, this piece of Park East Boulevard, that it needs to be, it's only of utility once the extension happens between Haggerty and McCurdy. And so we're trying to figure out how to keep this project moving along without it derailing. So I had one conversation with Doug earlier today. I think maybe he has some ideas. We're not going to fix it on today's call, but I'm just letting you know there's an issue right now with the environmental document, and we want to do everything we can to keep it moving.
Jeremy, I think that maybe one approach would be if you can figure out as much as you can figure out, and then it might be worthwhile if we had a conference call between you and the consulting firm and our staff to see if we can come up with a solution. Does that sound like a reasonable approach?
Yes,
Okay,
sooner rather than later, just because
Right.
of the timing of everything.
yes.
All right, well, that is a little unfortunate, but these things happen, so thank you for keeping on top of that and giving the committee an update. So then that brings us to our next project, the Concord Road Trail Lighting Project. We did not have any comments on this. This is proceeding as we expect it to, so did you have anything you wanted to add to that, Jeremy?
Nope. So far, so good.
All right, thank you. And the last project is the South 9th Street project. So we noted that the FEMAS request was processed on April 22nd. Additionally, the construction estimate and total estimate in the report were listed as the same value of $5,936,000. So that seems like maybe we should double check that since the total estimate probably ought to include, PE and right-of-way. So just a request to see if I'm reading that correctly or.
Could you say that again?
Sure. So if you look in the packet, so the two values for construction and then the total estimate are both $5,936,000. They were listed as the same value in the report, whereas normally a total estimate should include PE and right-of-way. So it seems like that might be something we ought to check on for the next report. All right, so then moving on to West Lafayette, can you hear me, Mitch?
Yes.
Great. So the first project, the Happy Hollow Neighborhood Trail, we just wanted to check and see if all the purchase orders were closed out.
It's been closed out yet, but that would be it.
Okay. So then, sorry, I think I might have missed the first part of your comment. Are we still waiting on a couple to be closed out?
Yeah, we were dealing with some construction engineering PO still, so that's the only one.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I must not have heard that, so thanks for clearing that up. Okay, so the next project, Cherry Lane Extension, we did not have any comments on that, so do you have anything you wanted to contribute, Mitch?
Yeah, we checked out the ground stabilization out there. We submitted the NOT, I think it was last week, so I'm getting close on that.
All right, great, thank you. Soldiers Home Road, Phase 1. So we noted that both right-of-way clear and Stage 3 design showed 0% complete in the reports. However, both also have completion dates listed in this calendar year. So is that correct, or should maybe those completion dates be in a future calendar year?
Yeah, I think they should be. I'm still catching up on that project, so I don't know exactly what our plan is on that right now.
Okay.
But it's not going to be this year.
Okay. So then, yeah, we can just check on that in the next report and update it, and then that'll be good to go on that. All right, good. So then your last project is the Sagamore Parkway Trail. So it seems like that's progressing now, which is good. We're glad to see that. But we did want to know what information was missing for NEPA approval and if there was any way that we as APC can assist you guys with this.
Last I talked to our consultants, they're still working on that. They didn't have a clear update on it, so I don't really know at this moment.
Okay. All right, well, we can circle back on that maybe next time because we are kind of getting up. These are supposed to be finished in September according to the current timeline, so just wanted to make sure we were keeping on top of that. And if, in the interim there is anything that we can do to help you guys, please feel free to reach out, certainly.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Sounds good, thanks. So the last project is for the town of Dayton, and it looks like Mark is not here, but we did not have any comments about that project. That seems to be proceeding as it should. So that should wrap up everything that I have, unless someone else wanted to chip in with something that we might have missed.
We're ready to go on to item 6 on the agenda, APC progress report. And who does that?
Let me see what's first.
I think that's me, with the monthly funding report.
Yeah, Doug can go ahead with that.
Okay,
First, I'd like to cover the monthly funding report. The one-page report was included in your packet, or at least sent out earlier. Of course, the top shows the information that was provided to us by NDOT. When we did receive the report, there were several funding differences between our numbers and their numbers, and those issues have been resolved, so now they match us. Below that, under the FY20 TIP funding allocation, it does show a number of boxes highlighted in various colors. Part of this discussion or looking at was covered earlier by Sally with TIP modifications. For example, the Twickenham Boulevard, there was a balance of $2,409 that was obligated through an advice of change for change orders. And then looking down, everything else has been taken care of except for the one box highlighted in orange, and that was for city bus of $140,198. We are working on obligating those funds. The first step was actually taken today in terms of the TIP amendment for the software. Then when that is approved by the policy board at their next meeting, we will then finish up what we need to do with the TIP modification and allocate the balance of funds to that project, and then the residual balance will go to additional bus stop and sidewalk improvements, and then request from NDOT that the funds be transferred from Federal Highway to FTA, which is a fairly simple process. When that is complete, we will be finished, and we'll have successfully obligated all of our fiscal year 2020 funds. Questions?
Okay, thank you, Doug. Next is the sharing agreement.
I'll take care of that, John. It was also in your packet. This is the final sharing agreement for the fiscal year 2020 funds. You'll see all the allocations by MPO around the state. So the group ones are those MPOs that have urban populations larger than 200,000, and then the group twos, of which we're a part. The bottom line is that the final sharing agreement did drop our allocation a little bit, even though Congress's spending authority went up to over 98%. I think the draft, it was in the 96% range. So even though the spending authority went up, the total amount went down, and we'll have to do a TIP amendment to lower that because these will be the numbers that we'll be using as estimates for future TIP years, at least for a while. So we'll have to figure out, where the reduction, which projects the reduction is going to come from.
Okay. Has the section 164 penalty appeared in previous documents? Because I don't remember seeing that before.
Yes, it's
I just missed it all these years.
It's still part of the Indiana's wrist slap. And my understanding is that it's taken out of STBG money, and it has to be used in safety projects. And the reason is that the Indiana legislature will not create the state penalty for drunk driving is not as severe as the feds would like it to be. And so until it is, then they take this money out of STBG and require its use in safety projects.
Thank you. Any questions about that? Next sub-item is battleground sidewalks.
That's Doug's project.
Yes, this is a project that I was very excited to do, found it very enjoyable, and actually it has not yet been presented to the town council. It was presented last week to the policy board, and then now to this committee. As you can see, if you've looked at the report, we finished it in very early March, and then due to the virus, we just haven't been able to present it to the town council. So you get a sneak peek before they do. Late last year, we were told that the town wanted to look at their sidewalks. Of course, like all small towns, they have a very limited amount of money to actually improve and fix their sidewalks, so they wanted to have an assessment done. And after some discussion between the town council member and ourselves, we agreed to go ahead and do that. In researching what was available on the World Wide Web, I couldn't find that many actual projects that did this. I did actually discover one that was done by a consultant that has a local office here, HWC, and they did it for the town of Whitestown back in 2017. I did contact their local office and spoke with Brian Poehler about using their system. They developed a modified PASER rating similar to what is used to actually address or look at sidewalks, or not sidewalks, but streets and rate them. And after some discussion, they okayed our approval to use that. And as a matter of fact, in the report, we did acknowledge that they developed the methodology, and actually in the appendix, they gave us a picture rating system. So the rating system overall does several things. One is that we did an actual visual survey and walked all of the 8.36 miles in town and rated each sidewalk section on a rating scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is excellent and then 1 indicates that there's been a failure. With that rating, that was condensed down into 7 individual categories, being excellent, very good, good, fair, poor, very poor, to failed. And then using GIS, this is a really neat use of GIS, we created maps of the town that actually showed color-coded where the sections are by those 7 categories, which are in the report. In addition to that, they did, and we did a spot condition analysis. We actually went a bit further and did a more detailed report on this, in that when we were out looking at the sidewalks, we took copious notes of everything that we saw, and then actually pictures. You will see those in the report. And then specifically, we created maps that show sections that were heaving, sinking, tree issues, sections were missing, cracking, and then also encroachment, whether it be from landscape or trees. We approached the town and looked at 5 different sections. Basically, the older part of town, we looked at that in 2 sections split by the CSX railroad track. And then the northern, or top part of town to the west, we looked at the 3 subdivisions, Harrison Meadows, Shawnee Ridge, and Quail Ridge. Overall, the sidewalks we found were in very good condition, 38.5% of them, while there was 1.7% very poor and 3.3% that failed. So the biggest culprits we found, of course, problems, especially in the older part of town, were trees and their roots. A lot of those issues. And in the newer part of town, especially the subdivisions, the issue was utilities that were installed in the sidewalk. For example, the one biggest problem that we saw was a utility manhole that was roughly 6 to 7 inches below the sidewalk. It was so, to even warn people of it, they actually painted yellow around the manhole, and that's faded, unfortunately, but that picture is actually included in the report. The report is can be found electronically on our webpage at several locations. And of course, we do have paper copies if you'd like it. It's a very interesting report. We had a good time doing it. Found it hopefully they be very helpful to the town council. Any questions?
Good. Sounds interesting. Okay, move on. Thank you, Doug. 18-month letting list. Do we have 2 letting lists to go through, or just the most recent of the 2?
Well, we actually, the non-colored 2-page is the letting list that we normally prepare every month. The second one is the list that was sent to us from the district, and it has some slight variance or differences to what we actually have found on NDOT's webpage.
Well, except we have one titled March and one titled May. So do we, or should we go through both of them?
No, I'm just going through our report that we sent out in May, or
Okay.
for the May. Begin with, the first project, number 1, that was on an April letting, and actually there were more projects in the county that were let in April than just the one. The first project was on I-65, and that was an ITS, Traffic Management Systems project. That project was awarded to Midwestern Electric for just a pinch over $5.1 million. 4 bids submitted, and the estimated completion date is June 15th of 2021. The second project is also on I-65, a small structure pipelining project. This is located north of State Road 43. It was awarded for a little over $1.26 million, and the estimated completion date is October 31st later this year. The next projects that were awarded to, and this was in a group with other projects, and these both were debris removal in US 231. That project was awarded for almost $900,000 with an estimated completion date of November 10th of 2020. Looking at this month's May 7th bid letting, it does show on the report 2, both on State Road 225, and actually there was another one, and this was a district-wide bridge maintenance project. And the 2 on State Road 225, there was a total of 5 projects within that contract. There were none below the engineer's estimate. The low bid was Milestone for almost $2.5 million. And for the other one, which is a district-wide bridge maintenance project, that was awarded to Reith Riley for a little over $1.3 million. Looking on the list, on the front page, going back to that, projects 4 through 11 are all on State Road 22 or State Road 25. Thin bridge deck overlays, they're in basically one contract. Project 12 is on a November letting. And then looking further down, we have 3 projects, 19, 20, and 21, Lindbergh Road, North River Road, and Park East Boulevard, which are all on a January 13th of 2021 letting. Questions?
So how do we read? We have the old format and the colorful one.
That was, the color one was sent to us from NDOT, which has the contract number, DES number, and then it has on the, pretty much near the, to the far right, the letting date.
Because I've gotten used to the one you put together, right? You've been taking it off the NDOT website and putting this together for us?
The one black and white report is exactly how you described. I just download the information and then put it in a readable format.
And why are we doing this additional one?
The additional one started the previous month because there was some inconsistencies with the 18-month letting list that was shown on NDOT's website, and the district office actually sent the information to us, so they continued with that. So we have the information that they have.
Could we take their information and put it in our format? with the regular waiting list?
We can, we'll just have to work with the district to get it early enough.
Okay. I think that would help you, John, right? So that we have one report all in the same format.
Well, I don't want to make Doug work too hard because I appreciate whatever he's done. To me, it's interesting, we're doing a lot more bundling. I think NDOT is.
Yes.
See that happening here. In either format, you can see that, especially I think in Doug's format. Good, thank you. Now, the 231 corridor study, who gets to talk about that?
Well, Bill or Scott at this point, because what we've done is we've added $100,000 of our federal funds to the corridor study. And NDOT Crawfordsville will be running that project with our collaboration. And I'm not sure if an RFP has been completed yet or not.
I do not know if an RFP has been completed. Bill, do you happen to know any more detailed information about where we are with that?
I'm thinking.
Right. I've not had direct conversations with Travis Cole or CPM about this study directly.
Okay.
Right. I knew we're partnering and moving forward with it.
So I'm pretty sure, Sally, an RFP is not complete yet.
Okay.
And because Travis hasn't given me any updates in a while. So I will have to check on that and have an answer by the next meeting or send it on email if it's something that happens more quickly and we just don't want to wait for an update till the next meeting.
Okay, and because I guess part of the RFP would be for all of us to agree on what the scope of that would be, correct?
Yes, we would need that, wouldn't we?
Right.
We've talked about it, and yeah, Travis, that's the last thing Travis knows. I sent him an email summarizing last time you and I and Shane had talked. And I don't know that anything has happened, and that was just within a week or so ago. So we haven't progressed a lot since the last time we got together.
All right.
Okay, thank you. So we're nearing the end. Item 7 is other business. Anything we've overlooked?
Not from our end.
Okay. Any citizen comments that are possible under this format?
Yes, Tim will be checking the YouTube and Facebook to see if anything has come in.
At this
Okay.
time, nothing has come in, but because we are on a delay, we typically wait 30 seconds or a minute for people to get comments. So I think Sally's going to time us on that.
Okay.
Got it. We're started. And if anybody else has any comments, we can take those while we wait to see if any public comment comes in.
Well, if you want me to fill 30 seconds, I could mention that I sat in on the vicariously or virtually on the Historic Preservation Commission meeting on Monday, where they asked for public comments an hour before the meeting started.
Yeah.
And they
I
got 12
think
comments.
The guidance I got from NDOT Central Office and Federal Highway is that they're strongly urging us to allow people to comment in real time. So that's why we're doing this.
Mhm.
My guess is that for the June meeting, we will likely still be meeting virtually, but I don't know that for sure yet.
Yep. Well, while we're waiting a few more seconds for any public input, is there any objection for us any objection to us adjourning once it's time? I won't ask for a roll call vote on adjournment unless somebody would like to do so.
Okay, we're past 30 seconds.
Okay,
Still nothing that I can see.
okay. So hearing no objection to us adjourning by acclamation, I will do so. Thank you for making this work. And
You're
we'll
welcome.
see you next month, if not before.
Thank you.
Meeting is adjourned.